Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era. I'm your host, David Tare, where every day I feature another song from my countdown of my personal Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2540, and that one is I've Got to Use My Imagination by Gladys Knight and the Pips. And This was released in 1973. It actually peaked on the charts the following year, 74, went all the way to number 4. And it was also released on our 1973 album called Imagination. Um, and I'll get into Gladys Knight and the Pips later. They had a ton of hits. They were very, very successful R&B or soul or funk or whatever you want to call them group. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the song "I Gotta Use My Imagination." Not a whole lot to say about it. It's a song about heart. It's a song about rebound from heartbreak, and it's very upbeat. I mean, if you listen to it, it starts with a big, brass section, I guess, provided by the Pips, and then Gladys Knight was the lead singer, and I guess the Pips kind of did background vocals. Very, very entertaining group to listen to, and this song's a case in point. But I guess her lover in the song, her lover just left her without saying anything. But she's trying to use her imagination to think of good reasons to hang on and keep going in life, and she's very positive about it, which is a good way to be. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I have to say about the song. Now I'm going to talk about the band Gladys Knight and the Pips. Here's a picture of them, and they were a very, very successful R&B group. They actually had a long history. They started as just the Pips in 1952. I believe Gladys Knight was with them the whole time, but they became Gladys Knight and the Pips in 1961, and they were together until 1989. So they were together for 37 years, really long time. And the original members were Gladys Knight. She was the lead singer, the woman, third from the right, pretty obvious here. And then the original members also included Merrill, or his nickname was Bubba Knight, that was her brother, and then Brenda Knight, her sister, and then their cousins, Eleanor Guest and William Guest. That was the original lineup of Gladys Knight and the Pips, but they had several membership changes over the years after that. I'm not sure who's shown in this picture. I guess there were 3 Pips at that time. I don't think it looks like her sister wasn't with them anymore. But anyway, so that was Gladys Knight and the Pips. Now I'm just gonna go through their hits. They had a ton of hits. I wrote them all down, all their Billboard Hot 100 hits, a lot of them. So you'll have to bear with me here. Their first hit was in 1961. It was called "Every Beat of My Heart." That went to number 6. I guess there was a reissue of that song later that year that went to number 45. And then they had "Letters Full of Tears," which went to 19. In 1962, they had "Operator," which went to 97. In 1964, they had "Giving Up," which went to 38, and "Lovers Always Forgive," which went to 89. In 1967, they had "Take Me in Your Arms" and "Love Me," which went to 98, and "Everybody Needs Love," which went to 39. And then they had their biggest hit up to that point, "I Heard It Through the Grapevine," which went all the way to number 2. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this song. Marvin Gaye had the biggest hit version of it, by the way. Just the following year, Marvin Gaye had a huge hit with a cover. And I think I should mention that they were with Motown at this time. Both Gladys Knight, the Pips, and Marvin Gaye were with Motown. And I think at first Marvin Gaye didn't even want to cover it because it was such a big hit for Gladys Knight, the Pips, but he had an even bigger hit with it, and his is coming up much, much higher on my list. So is Gladys Knight and Pips version of that song. Just I thought I'd mention that. Also, Creedence Clearwater Revival had a cover in 1970. I think theirs was a minor hit, but I did feature it very early on my list. I think at number 2960. I'm not as crazy about CCR's version. I mean, they sang it really well, but their version was way too long. It was 11 minutes long. I think if they had made it shorter, I probably would have put it higher on my list. But anyway, I just think it's too long. 1969, Gladys Knight the Pips had Didn't You Know, which went to 63. You Have to Cry Sometime. Yeah, Don't You Know You Have to Cry Sometime. That's the subtitle. Then they had the Nitty Gritty, which went to 19. I believe that was a cover of a song originally recorded by Shirley Ellis, kind of a catchy song. That one is coming up on the list, Shirley Ellis's version. Then they had Friendship Train, which went to 17. In 1970, they had You Need Love Like I Do, which went to number 20. You Need Love Like I Do, Don't You? And then they had another top 10, If I Were Your Woman, which went to number 9. In 1971, they had I Don't Want to Be Wrong, which went to 17. And Make Me the Woman That You Go Home To, which went to 27. In 1972, they had Help Me Make It Through the Night, which went to 33. And then they had Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye, which went to number 2. And then in 1973, they had Daddy Could Swear, I Declare, which went to 19. All I Need Is Time, which went to 61. Where Peaceful Waters Flow, which went to 28. And then later that year, they had their only number 1, Midnight Train to Georgia. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that one. That one's coming up much higher on my list. And then they had the one I featured today, I Gotta Use My Imagination, which went to number 4. And then in 1974, they had Between Her Goodbye and My Hello, which went to 57. The Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me, which went to 3. On and On, which went to 5. And I Feel a Song in My Heart, which went to 21. In 1975, they had Love Finds Its Own Way, which went to 47. They had I guess, medley of The Way We Were and Try to Remember. Those are both show tunes. I'm sure you guys are familiar with The Way We Were. Barbara Streisand went to number 1 with that one. But Gladys Knight and the Pips also covered, and their cover went to number 11. Try to Remember, I think, is from another movie or a play called The Fantastics. Then they had Money, which went to 50, and Part Time Love, which went to 22. And then in 1976, they had So Sad the Song, which went to 47, and Baby Don't Change Your Mind, which went to 52. In 1980, they had Landlord, which went to 46. In 1986, they had Save the Overtime for Me, which went to 66. Finally, in 1987, they had Love Overboard, which went to 13. So a lot of hits for Gladys Knight and the Pips. Very, very successful soul and R&B group. And that completes my profile on I've Got to Use My Imagination by Gladys Knight and the Pips. So thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time.